That right? That's extreme. That's an extreme right. Get one of these rolling faces. You want one right
Ours
here?
with peanut.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Hello, first and last.
No, go ahead. This is it. This is it. This is it.
no matter where we go.
Is there open bar? Is it going to be open bar? No. Have you seen the bar? Bar? No. All right, cool. I don't drink. Is this the right?
Right here is all press area.
Huh. Well, well, well.
Pretty sure.
Well, well, well. Let's sit here. Da-da-da. Hey.
Fowler?
Oh, yeah. That's Fowler. Okay. You got to have your... I couldn't recognize you.
Huh? Oh, you didn't recognize me with a microphone?
Yeah, you can't wear that here. It'd be a kind of a marker.
I thought about it. Look at this here.
Can we rearrange this any way we want? Is this like our own workspace? Oh, look, there's Ryan Urkel. What's his name?
Yeah, that's it.
Ryan Alter. Fuck around. This is I want a barf, but I'm good.
You can actually film it.
Do they give out barf bags?
Huh?
They give out barf bags? Or open bar, at least?
Barf bag. I wouldn't barf in a bag. Not here. Barf on.
Well,
barf
it's
on them?
better to projectile when it's in a bag.
Can we barf on them? Can we barf on them?
I just feel a little sick.
Oh, by the way, I'm so sorry about your mom. That was heartbreaking to watch. I saw that.
It's very sad.
Thank you. I guess it'll probably be pretty hard to like get this new back.
Most Bouchel's here. I've heard his name, but I don't really know who he is. He's with KT. There he is over there. Is that him right there? Has he ever filmed a cops beating up a homeless person? No, so don't tell me to look up to nobody. Because UT Law told me they don't give a... I'm going to chill out. I'm going to chill out like this.
She's over there. Vanessa Fuentes is right there. The table's all like...
You're all squished.
Squished.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You ready to cover my article? Oh, yeah.
Report the Austin right there.
Report the Austin, there he is. Is that the report? Is it a team or just one?
It's a team.
Oh, wow. Now, hold on, y'all.
You gotta ask your own.
How do we ask questions? You gotta find the chief when she's done, dude. Find her when she's done. We can't ask her to open the forum. We can, yeah. Are we not citizens too?
No, we're not. No. Apparently not. Apparently we're not citizens.
I mean, I never sat on Lisa Davis's lap. I am here to be independent. Oh, look, it's a Cheeto, the Cheeto lover right there. Cheeto the Cheetah. You can go talk to him right now if you want. Are you looking me up?
You hear it?
That's you. Yeah. But I just changed my. Can you go fast forward through it?
I'm trying to. You see it. Gotta do it again.
There's Cheeto Fella right there.
All right, so where's your shot? I don't necessarily sit in front of it.
You know, I stand this cup. I might have to stand. Sure. I didn't bring a taller setup. But if I stand, it's gonna be live, so it's gonna just be wobbly for people. I feel for them. I hate watching the wobble.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, buy me a buy me a drone. I'll just fly it in the room.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they like that.
No, probably not.
Hello.
So there's the Vino over there. Where do they go? Vino.
Him?
Oh yeah. He's gonna run for something.
Over there.
Yeah, he's drunk up his ass every time I see him. Doesn't represent me. I don't drink no more. He used to represent me. And not no more.
Okay, so here.
I told myself to stop drinking, but I don't listen
Pretz
to
is over
rock.
here. The other people over there.
What?
Pretz is over here, and then people are over there.
Russian people too. What are not people is cops.
Yeah.
Cops are not people.
Yeah, they're not. You don't get to ask questions now.
We're not gonna have questions. Look, it's not full. The place is full.
My name is Brady Bell. I am a staffer for Mayor Pro Tem Chico Bella. I know people are still coming in, and our program is not yet started, but I did want to make just a few announcements about logistical things and things like that for everyone's benefit. So hopefully everybody grabbed a copy of the agenda for this evening. That'll give you a rough sense of what's going on, but I want to let you know we're still having people come in. The plan is to start at 6:30 with our program. So settled. Wanted to note that in the back, in the gym area, we have food over there on the tables, food and water for people who might want to enjoy that. Since we have a little bit of time, about 12 minutes left before the program starts. Additionally, we have organizations here tabling in the back. Happy to speak with folks. So, we have American Gateways. We have, which is a enriched legal organization. We have Texas Civil Rights Project. We also a legal organization.
Yeah.
We have the Workers' Defense Project. We have Catholic Charities. We
Ryan,
also have the APD Office of the Community Liaison, and we have the APD Victim Services. So we have those 6 people in the back. Feel free to go
Mr. Science
visit
Theater
them,
did this.
talk with them. There's also going to be the opportunity to visit those tables after
This is the meet and greet conversation with APD Chief Davis.
No questions. You can't ask questions.
The press is not allowed to ask questions.
visit those tables. Also want to point out the restrooms. Very important. Restrooms are through these doors right here. Up in the front.
Male or female?
The gym area is
That's
down the hall.
that's your agenda right here.
Okay.
Here's the Spanish side. Most common questions on APD ICE interactions. What is APD's current policy regarding cooperation with ICE? We don't cooperate, we just cooperate, so that they're going to do that. What level of cooperation with ICE is legally required in Texas law, whereas APD still have discretion. So there's no law that says they have to cooperate with ICE because ICE is getting unlawful detentions that are extrajudicial and without judicial warrant. Administrative warrants are not enforceable. So they're doing unconstitutional criminal actions against people. Anybody getting involved with that's going to be going to jail. I support APD working with ICE to get their ass
Check 1 2.
break the damn Constitution. You take an oath
Check,
to serve the Constitution.
Check 1 2.
All right.
You need to take
Hopefully
that
you
shit
can hear
seriously.
me a little bit better right there than
I
that.
hope I answer that properly.
Too loud? Okay.
Check
Sorry.
1 2.
I
Check.
often speak without a mic, so speaking
Mic
with a
check.
mic
Check
is
1 2.
probably necessary. Okay. So again, just wanted to make some logistical announcements to let everyone know.
See all of
Our
them
formal
today.
program is going to begin at 6:30. So right now, feel free to take some time to find your seat. Wanted to point out in the back of the cafeteria, the gym area, we have food and drink available over here on this side. This is a good chance if you want to have something to eat before the program starts. Then please do so. If you also, we have tables in the back. We have different organizations here who are taking and offering resources. Please go ahead if you want to take some time right now before the program starts. Feel free to visit those tables. We have with us American Gateways, which is an immigration legal organization. We have the Texas Civil Rights Project. We have the Workers' Defense Project. We have Catholic Charities. We have the APD Office of Community Liaison. So there will be also an opportunity following the end of the program to also visit those tables. But if you have some time right now, please feel free to visit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I want to also point out that the restrooms are through these doors over here. Just through these doors.
I think we just moved in front of you.
Additionally, We have people who are passing out index cards. Index cards. So Jason right here, that is right there. So, as most of you know, we ask the same questions in cards before. In addition to programming, please feel free to write down any questions. After the Q&A conversation is, which will end around starting around 6:50. During that time, staff is going to go around and collect those index cards so that we can select some questions from those cards for the team. So again, you submitted a question to us, fantastic. We have those, we've gone through those. If you think of any questions this evening, during the remarks, please feel free to write them down on one of those cards. And then during the council Q&A, which is we'll have some Yes, and speaking of the questions, if you look on the back of the agenda, you'll see most common questions on the actions. So you see there's 20 questions. These are most frequently answered submitted questions through the unsubmitted index. These are the priority questions based on how frequently they were asked, how much of this is.
Yeah, I know my shame now.
So this evening, these 10 questions.
But I have changed.
If not,
Okay. I didn't know it was anything else. So I have to get it.
Yeah, over there. Oh, watch out. Yeah.
You've done the fun. Oh, cool. I know who you are.
Are you going to the school thing tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. I'm lying, by the way.
I got this from the community liaison PD office. It's free.
Did you know this?
Is it ball? For stress?
Yeah. Because we're gonna need it dealing with them. Yeah.
No. On the street.
I know. Good. From what?
That guy looks like a federal agent.
Yeah. He's the other council person. He's the council.
Yeah. You think APD?
Yeah. I was talking with.
Well, hopefully that's the 15th, but maybe not.
Begins, of course, we would like everyone to be able to pay attention, to give respect to everybody else here who's here to listen and to learn. But we'll have more opportunities after the formal program ends to go back there and visit with those tables, talk to those folks, look at their resources. We also have food and drink in the back. Please feel free to take advantage of that. If you're grabbing some while the program is going, just be mindful and respectful and try to keep quiet, things quiet as you do so. Very important, restrooms. They're over here to my left through those doors. You can just, there's a lot of, you probably won't be able to use these doors, but if you exit out of the doors back there, you just turn left down the hallway and you'll see them. So restrooms are over there. All right, so now I'm going to talk about a few things regarding the agenda that I want to make sure everyone is on the same page about. So hopefully you guys grabbed a copy of the agenda when you were walking in. So you'll see right there that we're going to start at 6:30 just here in a couple minutes with our formal program. And we're going to have opening remarks from the council members. Following that, the Chief Davis of the Austin Police Department will be providing a presentation. Once the Chief finishes her presentation, the council members are going to ask a couple of questions that they have selected of the Chief. At that time, we're going to start collecting the index cards. So we received questions through the RCP forms.
Can we sit here?
Let's take him
In
though.
addition to those questions that we're going to try and address the biggest priority question tonight.
You smell.
During the program, while the Chief's taking remarks, if you think of anything, again, you can see staffers that are walking around handing out index cards.
Save us an hour right there.
Write down any questions that you think of.
Pro police, hurry.
And then during that 6:50 to 7 p.m. or so time period, staffers are going to walk around and start collecting those from you. And then we'll be selecting a few questions from those to be able to ask following the council members' questions. There will also be a little bit of time.
She said she's a moderate Democrat, whatever she said.
Go, take a couple
Moderate.
of questions from the audience.
Well,
So,
working with
again,
Save Austin
If
now.
you haven't grabbed an index card and you want to, you think you might think of a question during this presentation that you want to be answered, please find one of the staffers, Jason, something else is going around.
LGBTQ,
Raise your
Michael over
hand,
there,
and he'll see you and he'll come give you one.
way over there.
Write down your question, and then we'll be gathering.
Pro police.
So, if you turn the agenda around and look at the back of the page, you'll see here that there are 10 questions listed. So thank you so much to everybody who submitted an amazing array of very, very important, very good questions to be addressed. We took the 10 most frequently, most commonly asked questions from the literally 400 plus that we received. The ones that we saw the most, the ones that seem to have the most emphasis, the ones that really seem to be top of people's minds. So during this evening's presentation and discussion, we're hoping that we can get to all 10 of these questions. So if you have additional questions beyond these, those are the kinds of questions that we're hoping to see on the index cards or during the live Q&A portion. So to also make sure everyone understands, I'm sure many people here are completely cognizant of this, we have a lot of people here. There's a lot of people in the room, and there's a lot of people I know who have very passionate feelings about this very, very critical subject. It's very important to all of us here, up here, all of us as staffers. This is something that's near and dear to our hearts. We also, in addition to everybody here in this room, we have 100 people online.
See the questions, what they put on there?
So given that, we just want to make sure that everybody is respectful of each other, respectful of people speaking, so that everybody who came here to listen, to learn, to ask questions, can be able to do so. Right? We don't want anybody to monopolize time that takes away from anybody else's ability to learn or get the information that they want. So hopefully I won't have to remind anybody else again about this, but again, this is a understandably difficult, emotional, and tense topic. We all understand that. We all want to make sure that this is something that's a constructive dialogue where people can really come away with this information and learning stuff. And remember, after the program ends at 7:30, we do have a little bit of time after that for people to talk with some of the council members who are going to sit behind, as well as to visit those tables in the back again. So if you don't get your question asked, if something that you think is really important is not addressed, you'll be able to get that after the program ends, or one of the staffers here, such as myself, can take down your question information and get back to you. Right? I want to make sure that we have as much time devoted to getting that information as possible, but understandably, we aren't going to get to everybody's concern and everybody's question in this hour. So, can everybody give me a big cheer saying you're on board? We're gonna be respectful. We're gonna work hard to make sure that we have a good experience. All right, so it's my pleasure now to hand things over to our formal MC for the evening. That is my boss, Mayor Pro Tem Chico Della.
Chico.
Thank you, Brady, very much, and thank you so much. It's really heartwarming to see such a full house and people who care so much, so passionate about our community and our immigrant community in particular. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that si tenemos interpretación en español. Si alguien necesita escuchar en español, si tenemos las maquinitas para traducción, nomás nos avisas aquí enfrente y te ponemos la máquina de interpretación. Let me start real quick. Actually, I just want to recognize also we've got State Representative Luis Flores is here today. Thank you so much, Representative Flores, for joining us, and I understand that the staff representative of State Senator Zaffarini's office as well, and thank you so much, Senator Zaffarini, for sending a staffer. We appreciate the concern and the attention. And let me go ahead and just kick it over to my colleagues. We will start with Councilmember Vanessa Fuentes for just some introductory remarks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Vanessa Fuentes. I represent District 2 in Southeast Austin, South Austin on City Council. I first want to acknowledge why we're here. I firmly believe that the number one responsibility that I have as a council member is the safety of our community. Right now, we are seeing what is happening by having increased ICE activity in Austin. And for me, real public safety means that when something goes wrong, when you're in danger and you need to call for help, you can call for help without fear of what's going to happen to you, what's going to happen next. But none of this works without trust. Trust between neighbors, trust between communities and local government, and today, especially, trust between our residents and local law enforcement. Since President Trump has announced his massive deportation effort with a reported goal of deporting 1 million people a year, we have seen a clear escalation of ICE activity in our communities. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I spoke with a small business owner, a legal resident, who told me that she no longer goes out for travels because she's afraid of being detained. I spoke with a mother at a homeless shelter who shared with me that her and her 2 children were living out of their car after her husband had been deported. And just a few months ago, we had a waiter at a local restaurant who overheard a conversation I was having with my team discussing immigration issues, and he quietly asked for help. His colleague had been detained, and she hadn't showed up for work in 2 weeks, and they needed to know what could they do. These are real stories of our real neighbors who are experiencing situations with ICE in Austin. And so that is what we're going to have a conversation today, to talk about what is happening, how APD is working, how is local law enforcement working with ICE, what is legal, where do we have the opportunity for us to ensure safety given the limited resources that we have available. And so I just want to appreciate you all for taking time to join us. I know there's a lot of conversation that we're about to have, and this is really just a continuation of it. You can count on us to continue the conversation with you, because what we know is that we have to take it day by day. There are changes that are happening at the federal level, which is going to require us to act to ensure that we're addressing these situations.
And we are in District 3.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Everyone, thank y'all for being here. To our immigrant community, I want you to know that you are valued, you belong, and our job as elected officials is to serve you and to make sure that we are keeping you safe. Councilwoman Fuentes, Mayor Pro Tem Vela, and I have been working closely with Chief Davis, the Mexican consulate, and numerous advocates and community groups on how to best support you. I have shared before how important it is for every member of our community to feel safe calling 911. We're here so that the community can better understand what the Austin Police Department is doing to keep our entire community safe, regardless of immigration status. Because transparency within our government is absolutely vital. And making sure our immigrant brothers and sisters are safe is paramount. Thank you all so much for being here today.
I need another one.
Thank you very much, Councilmember. We're also joined today by Councilmember Ryan Alter. Councilmember Alter, you want to say a few words?
We're good now.
Thank you so much. I'll keep it very brief. I'm Ryan Alter. I have the privilege of representing way southeast Austin. And, you know, this is an issue that I think we all recognize, certainly by the number of people here, the importance in our community. It's about something that is the most personal, you know, often our families, our ability to feel safe dropping our kids off at school, to go to work, to go to the grocery store. You know, we should be able to be free in our community and not fear our government. And so I just really appreciate everybody being here to have the conversation and better understand what is going on and what we can do to help represent you here in Austin.
Thank you, Councilmember. I'll just say a few words. I come to this issue as a immigration attorney, criminal defense attorney, and what I did for a decade plus was to defend immigrants that were arrested and then actually had an ICE detained by ICE. So this is an issue that I've been working on for a decade plus. I have been in those county jails and the immigration detention centers and have had heartbreaking conversations with clients about their future, about their families. You know, I've seen the most macho and masculine men break down in tears talking about their families. So I know very intimately and very well what's at stake here, what's the situation. I've also, over the last decade plus, seen the laws change in many different ways on immigration, and some negative, and a lot of them, though, especially on the local level, positive. This is the second time we've had to deal with the Trump administration that's hell bent on attacking immigrants. And this council, the first Trump era, passed a lot of very good measures designed to minimize deportations here locally, designed to make sure that immigrants in Austin were as safe as they could possibly be. The state of Texas is going the other way, and they are trying to block us at every turn, trying to make sure that we're unable to protect our communities. But we are committed, and I feel like I can speak for the entire dais, and making sure that we are keeping our immigrant community as safe as we possibly can and supporting them in every way we possibly can. Some of the organizations here today, the immigrant serving organizations, receive money from the city, and we will continue to support them to provide legal services to immigrants who are detained, to immigrants who need to legalize their status. We will continue supporting our community in every possible way that we can. With that said, let me go ahead and turn it over to Chief Davis. Chief Davis, come on up. The floor is yours.
The Austin Police Department does not ask immigration status. We do not, you know, when you're responding, there's a lot of things I want to talk about tonight. A couple of them are, you know, we know we had the incident a few weeks ago with Karen and her 5-year-old
Genesis.
Her daughter. It is tragic. You're absolutely right. It's absolutely tragic. And so when you think about in February of 2025, over 700,000 administrative warrants were put into the system by ICE. And so when you look at those administrative warrants, and as an officer, and if I'm running a driver's license and I want to see, you know, a history, those administrative warrants come up and they look exactly like a detainer. And the administrative warrants.
Yeah.
And the detainers look very much alike, and it also says call ICE, and it is a bona fide call. So as we move forward, we're answering questions. Senate Bill 4, I can't stand up here, as believe me, I have my own personal feelings, and to stand up here to be able to say, we will not do this, we will not do that. Senate Bill 4 does not allow for that. And so there is a rule of law that I have to follow as chief of police here in the state of Texas.
You gotta be better! Be better!
Why do you work for them?
So it is quite clear. And we'll probably need to move on to questions.
Quit.
So we're going to move on to questions.
You're making a decision.
You have to hear people out. Take criticism. Hear the community out. Hear the community out. You have to hear the community out. This is criticism of you. Awesome police department.
Jesse, so I'm not going to keep talking.
They just keep talking.
Thank you. And thank you. We can go ahead and run into.
You're not immune to criticism. City council not immune. Awesome police not immune to criticism. Not immune to criticism at all. You got to take the criticism.
Folks,
You got to
please,
take it.
there's a lot of people here, and we
think
all
they're
want to
immune to
participate, and we all want to listen. Let's try to be respectful, and let's try to talk about this.
Awesome police
I
not
think
immune.
most of us have the same goal. But I just want to talk a little bit about what the police chief was mentioning. And again, I was practicing criminal defense attorney for many, many years. Was very familiar with these types of warrant databases. And for years and years, we never saw any kind of warrant from ICE, any kind of administrative warrant. Those are not real warrants.
Exactly.
They were not in the database that the police use to arrest people. The traditional warrants, the ones from Travis County or from Williamson County or whatever. Sir, please. Those types of warrants were in that system. This year, in February of this year, in an unprecedented move, the immigration, I started to put those warrants into the traditional system that criminal warrants were in. That confused a lot of folks, a lot of police departments, and I will acknowledge we didn't catch that as soon as we should have. We were slow in reacting to understanding what those warrants were, and changing policies to adapt to the use of those warrants. But that's what we're doing right now, and we want to make sure that those warrants are not executed the way a normal warrant would be in that type of situation. And honestly, to start, Chief Davis, what would, again, assuming I know the new general orders are about to come out relatively soon, what in the future now, when an officer runs into a situation where they're interacting with somebody that has an administrative warrant from ICE, what is APD, that patrol officer going to do?
So when an officer runs into an administrative warrant and they decide to call ICE, and believe me, the majority of officers are not calling ICE in administrative warrants. Senate Bill 4 says we cannot reasonably tell an officer, the city cannot tell an officer that they cannot call ICE. So at the end of the day, the majority of our officers are not, every day officers are running into administrative warrants and they do nothing about it. So now when they do decide to do something about it, which is call ICE, that then will then raise to the level of a commander. The commander will then take that call, and the commander will make the decision on whether we are going to be waiting for ICE. And I can tell you the priority is not waiting for ICE to respond on a civil detainer. So that will be taken out of the hands of the officer to make that decision. It will rise to the level of a commander who understands the overall mission of all of the things we have to do with this as a police department, all of the different calls for service that are forwarding that we want to get to, the direct control we want to do, the community policing we want to do. And that commander will make that determination that we are not waiting for ICE.
Thank you, Chief. And I know you talked about, but what is the current general order with regard to in aspect of immigration status? What is right now when a patrol officer runs into somebody on the street?
What happened with Genesis?
Are they allowed to ask about
They are
immigration
not allowed to
status?
ask. They are not allowed to ask immigration status, and they do not.
And that policy has been in place
For a very long time. Yes, for a very long time.
And what about the level of?
Let me answer that. She asked how this happened. So let me talk about the call that happened with Karen. So let me speak, please. So the call with Karen came in, and when she went to hang up with 911, the call did not hang up. And the dispatchers heard her say, "The police are coming, there's a restraining order on him." So the dispatcher ran to see if she did have a restraining order on her. A restraining order is attached to the person. So they ran her through NCIC to see, does she have an active restraining order? There was no active restraining order, but the ICE administrative warrant showed up. So the officers got there. There had been, to the point from October to the time of this call, 29 calls to that residence where officers had responded over a period of 2 months, where there was interactions and conflict going on inside that house. So for 29 times, officers had responded there. The officers at that point were investigating the crime for abuse of 911 because the crime that was being called in was not found to be, had occurred. So as they're doing that, and the officer calls ICE, they say they are going to respond to get her. And within an hour, they did come to remove her. And so that's how that happened. So then as we're going back and we're looking, how did this happen? We're an administrative warrant where ICE responded. And again, this was in February that over 700,000 of these warrants were put into the system. And so that's when we're looking at general orders. Again, officers every single day are running across administrative orders and they're not doing anything about it. And go ahead and have a good day. They're not calling ICE. So we need to put something in general orders to talk about what officers who do decide to call ICE, what that system is. So putting that in the hands, again, out of their hands, they may call, that's reasonable, that aligns with Senate Bill 4.
Boo! They should not be called at all! No, you don't. You have a decision to make to protect the people of the city.
I'm sorry that we're not saying everything that you want to hear.
What if we fucking arrest you? What if we fucking arrest you?
What we are and aren't allowed to do. So
you can be better.
Be
better. Be better. Be better. Care about the people.
We're trying to be better. That's why we're doing this new, putting this in the hands of.
You're not being better. You're not trying to be better. No, you're not. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying to people.
Before and what it does.
Stop lying to people.
We see through your lies. Requests that we get a lot from the public is that we want to for the APD to not cooperate at all.
APD is racist.
So, Chief, what does state law say about that?
Well, state law is that it has to be, we have to reasonably allow, we cannot restrict officers from cooperating with ICE.
I'm in the question to pay her.
It's just city legal that I'm giving this information. If they do, then they will be disciplined.
Fuck city legal.
Hey man,
If they don't follow that, they will be disciplined.
I already beat them.
If I know, I would not be calling ICE on someone with an administrative warrant.
So I can answer that. SB4 has penalties that include removal of folks, that include fines.
Then you should take it. You should take it.
Things like that. SB4 is also enforced by the Texas Attorney General, currently in Paxton. So
Nazis are illegal. Nazis are illegal. We're brown people. Leave us alone.
Is the penalty deportation? No?
So
You're sending people to die.
Is when ICE is asked, when ICE calls Austin, when ICE calls the Austin and the police department for assistance in that kind of situation, again, where is APD? Like, what are APD's responsibilities and requirements under state law?
So we don't have, they do not have our radio, so we're not in contact with them via radio. So that's one thing. So they're calling 911. I think a couple of days ago they called, a car was going 70 miles an hour into the building. They called us to respond. Once it was determined that this was ICE, we backed out immediately. So I think that was brought up a couple of days ago. So
I don't know.
the reality is what is reasonable. And so that's
Now it's a lie.
And Chief, another critical thing, Councilmember Fuentes alluded to it, and in her comments, mentioned it in her comments, but how will APD ensure that residents can safely call 911, report crimes, or seek emergency help without?
It can't at all. It cannot.
And again, that's one of the most important issues out there, because too often we have seen the immigrant community preyed upon by criminals because, and this is before Trump, because they know that people are afraid, that undocumented immigrants are afraid to call the police, and so they are often targets for criminals.
And the police are racist.
It's hard to try to undo that, to try to instill confidence that say,
Talking about
hey,
criminals, the police
not
are
just
criminals.
for the individuals that have been robbed or assaulted or whatnot, but for the safety of the community. We've got to know when people are getting robbed or getting assaulted, for the broader safety of the community. What can you say about that, Chief?
Well, we also know that this is a community that underreports anyway, so to your point, that is accurate. What we have seen is domestic violence have not gone down from this time last year, so that's a good thing. But I met with Amla, one of the things we talked about is how do we agree on how people can prevent crime. And so one of the things is we have 54 victim service personnel, people, and those victim services are counselors, or trained counselors, and so we want to work together to see how we can, and it certainly wouldn't be crimes that's, just occurring, but if someone wants to report a crime, to have our victim services be that intermediary that they can report to, and then build a trust where the officers can then come in and take the report. But the Austin Police Department, as far as new visas goes, is an inordinate amount of new visas to people who cooperate with the investigation with those qualifying crimes.
And so again, and I know we
talk
talked
about
about
criminals.
this a bit, but
The police are
one
criminals.
possibility
The
would be
police are the
that
criminals.
when-
As in this.
Again, thinking outside the box, and how can we make it easier for people to report?
I thought we were just nice.
We were
Great, great. And let's go ahead and move over to a question from the audience. Let me look at my staff and hold on a second. Let's get some of the cards that were filled out first, and then we'll turn it over to.
Hey everybody, thank you for being here. Just an announcement that we've reached capacity for this space. We're really thankful to the Go Valley Elementary for letting us use here. So we are closing the doors due to fire marshal directions, but for anybody who's going to be outside, we are playing the live streaming online. We do have about 200 people online. We also do have Spanish interpretation. So we need to allow the interpreters to hear what folks are saying up here so they can interpret that to folks who are watching that online. So if anybody has any cards, can you please bring them up here?
Okay, checking. Got a lot of struggles. You want to hear my problems?
They're live.
No, they're straight up.
And actually, let me turn it real quick.
She does such a
Council members,
you got
any thoughts,
got
comments,
zero
reactions,
melatonin.
anything like that before we turn into the questions?
One of the questions I wanted our chief to clarify, if you could walk us through what is APD's role when we have ICE raids or ICE enforcement actions? How, because we're seeing videos and situations happen where folks can see APD officers on scene and there's ICE as well. So can you talk us through the distinction of why are they there? What is the requirements around that?
Well, we don't do operations with ICE. And like I said, if they're calling for it, it's the block off traffic, those type of things, anything reasonable, we can do that. But we are not responding to operations with ICE and conducting those raids for those operations.
You're still helping them. You're still collaborating with them in that way.
You're taking their training.
What transparency and accountability
Still collaborating with ICE.
regarding the APD ICE interactions?
So every quarter, we send to council and it is displayed how many interactions the APD has with ICE every quarter.
And that's how we're here today, really, with the reports that APD has been making every quarter they put out. And again, this goes back to a 2018 ordinance passed by the council way back when, that any interaction that APD has with ICE is supposed to be reported to the council and to the public, and it has been reported. report it to the council and to the public, and they'll continue to report.
They don't even track their use of force.
This is a question that we've gotten a lot, and again, with the events in Minneapolis have become an absolutely kind of critical question. What actions will APD officers be directed to take if they see ICE breaking the law?
Yeah.
When they see another officer breaking the law. And so we're all able trained. That is in the general orders, that is a resolution that this council passed. When there is a crime being committed by where an officer sees something, whether it's a bad use of force, what have you, that officer is supposed to intervene, and I would expect the same thing if it were for the
And just so.
That's totally.
You don't hold each other accountable. They're hold each other accountable. If you don't like what's happening, why did you do your job?
Or violating the law, breaking the law, they are supposed to report that to their chief of
Or also
And so
video
that
arresting
same type of
citizens.
reporting
Almost got
requirement,
arrested coming down.
you think that would also apply to an officer from another agency
It's
such as
not
ICE,
racial,
for
it's
example?
racial.
Yes,
I mean,
it does.
They're not, if she doesn't like what happened, why did she become this chief of police?
And let me get this other one. What will
Yeah,
APD do to
they're claiming
enforce
that they're not
protected
looking
zones
you
such
you
as
live here, you have rights.
schools?
I grew up in this neighborhood, man. I've lived.
When you look at protected zones,
They shouldn't even be asking.
in churches,
You live here, you're in the city.
schools,
You're-
we work closely with AISD and the other school systems throughout Austin that are within Austin. We will come when they call. I trust the schools, I trust AISD. And then when it comes to churches, that is a line as well. They're not going into churches. Sarah, I would love to have a conversation with you after. I'll stick around as long as you want, but if we can let everybody hear, that'd be fantastic.
I want to also say that for many years, honestly, for decades, the immigration policy was that they were to avoid sensitive areas such as schools, such as churches, and that was through multiple.
Oh, you know who that is?
Yeah, I know who that is.
You know who that is?
Trump did away with that policy, and again, the consequences have been absolutely horrible. Let me get to a few more of the questions. I am curious about how the city and APD are working with trusted community organizations that work directly with immigrant families, especially in school settings, to maintain trust at every level. What are we doing on that front, Chief?
I met recently with Hispanic leaders throughout the city, and that is something that I'm going to continue to do. And have that dialogue with them, and again, thinking outside the box on how we can ensure that people are able to call 911, report crimes, and that's going to continue.
Great, and you mentioned, and Representative Flores was asking about kind of the implementation of a potential use of victim services, folks for emergency call response to help. What do you think about that? I mean, in terms of like, how would that operate? How would that be set up? And how do you think someone would call and try to request a victim services officer?
So that's what we're working on right now. This is Katrina Clark over here. She is the director of our victim service, and they do a fantastic job. And that is their job, is to be focused on the victim. We've had situations where they can be confrontational with the police when they feel like the victim's not getting the services they need. So I think this is the way that we go. And as we start moving forward, it's about how are we setting up a system where, whether it's someone from ABBA, a neighbor that can call this number and have them as a kind of a third-party intermediary that can then get the police involved, file reports that are needed so we can address crime. Yes, ma'am, exactly.
Yeah, the Representative Flores will make sure that information gets out to the community, and again, this in conversation with Chief Davis, one of the ideas that she put out there of can we have the first contact for 911 via a victim services person. We're working on that. Let's get one more off of this list right here. Says, please tell us how to keep our community safe while attending events at city sites like the Mexican American Cultural Center. Any thoughts on that, Chief?
What are you talking about, like protests and events and gatherings?
I think more kind of large events and large gatherings where there's gonna be a bunch of folks. I mean, I know just recently in the news, there were talks about that ICE is gonna be at the Super Bowl, that ICE is gonna be like, and again, it's hard to know what's true and what's not, and especially with the current president. But what about those kinds of large events? Any thoughts on that?
Well, we have our own team at those large events, and certainly at the Capitol, you're dealing with DPS, you're dealing with state authority there, but once it's inside the city of Austin, you have our officers there, our dialogue team is there. They do a fantastic job of dialoguing with different groups and to ensure that what they're trying to, their message and their protest is protected.
Great. Well, then let's go ahead and open it up to some more questions from the public. Hold on a second, let me get the staff help. Sophie is gonna go ahead and catch people. Y'all raise your hands and we'll take them one by one.
Hello, okay. If you want to ask me a question, come over.
I don't have anything to do with the jails, that's share.
Question to our chief. Other cities and states are resisting this policy and this enforcement. Why can't the city of Austin Police Department also resist this?
I'll turn it right back over to you. Cheeto. You know, we've seen major ICE actions in LA, in Minneapolis, and in Chicago. And those are blue states with Democratic governors, with largely pro-immigrant policies. And we have still seen ICE essentially run rampant through those communities, even in a situation where the police department has the full support of the governor. And again, I know I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but just like with my clients, like I have to tell you the truth. I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you that we can do something that we're not going to be able to do.
If y'all really want to build trust with the community, you should do something.
The reality is that APD is not going to be able to combat ICE in the streets. We haven't seen that in any jurisdictions, and we're not going to see that.
Fuck APD.
Let me ask you to comment on that, Chief.
ACAP.
I think it is. We live in the state of Texas, and we have Senate Bill 4. And to me, it is the best way to manage that. That is to do what I'm doing, which is to put in place areas where I have more people looking at it. You know, I'm looking at commanders that are looking at ICE calling. That is the way that I'm handling this. I'm handling it by making every protest, ensuring that you have the right to protest. That's what I'm doing.
Why brutalize protesters? You arrest protesters all the time. Yeah, you do. You brutalize protesters. Boo! Boo! You brutalize protesters. Boo!
Could you speak to APD's interaction with protesters and protesters? Again, we've seen a number of protests. I imagine that we're going to continue to see a lot of other protests. Can you speak to that a bit?
So, you know, peaceful protest, I absolutely support that. We have hundreds of protests
Bullshit.
every year. But if you're jumping on cars or you're damaging property,
you brutalize peaceful protesters. Fuck.
And
you brutalize peaceful protesters. Tear gas, pepper balls.
Both in the No Kings, we had
Stop light.
very large No Kings rallies. That, and again, credit to
they paid you. They paid you.
The police.
They paid police fees. No Kings and all that. Not even a protest, a rally.
With no arrests and no injuries. And again, I appreciate the police department making sure that those were as peaceful and as controlled and where people
control. Stop using that. Control is violent. Control's fucking violent. You're under control. Stop brutalizing protesters.
This question is for Chief Davies. I am currently a public defender at the Travis County Public Defender's Office. He was both a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney within the military. On several occasions, I was asked to do things that I thought were not ethically or morally correct, both in my time in the military and prior to that. each time I was willing to, despite having a young child, $300,000 in student loan debt, I was willing to stand up for what I thought was right and not.
Yeah.
Because it was the wrong thing to do. And what I am asking you as a person who has analyzed SB4, who is qualified to speak about it, is that the enforcement mechanism is simply that you would be removed from your position.
Yeah.
I once was in a similar circumstance, and I was willing to face being removed from my position. To be
Sir, please stop that. It's okay.
Fuck you! What you say?
Yeah, what about it, Cheeto? What about it, Cheeto?
You're a disgrace, Chico Bella! You're a disgrace, Chico Bella! You're a disgrace, Chico Bella! Hear him out, Chico Bella!
Give him a sec.
All right.
You cut a lawyer's mic off. You're real brave, Cheeto. You sell out.
You're a disgrace, Cheeto!
Let's go ahead.
You're a disgrace, Cheeto! You're a disgrace, Cheeto! Vanessa Fuentes is a disgrace! Jose Velasquez is a disgrace! Ryan Alters is a disgrace! City Council, disgrace! APD is a disgrace!
You didn't answer the question.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Coward!
You're a coward!
Yellow ass coward!
Lisa Davis is a coward! To answer questions.
And I'm leading an agency that does not ask immigration status, that does, when you look at the number of times that we do where ICE responds, whether it's through a detainer, where we have to respond to criminal, you know that, criminal warrant, where we are responding versus the administrative warrant, there's a very small percentage of that. And even though one is too much, I am the person to help this department realize they cannot help, and they will do it. You don't know that. You don't know that.
Let me get to the next person.
You're a disgrace, Lisa Davis. You're a disgrace, Lisa.
Are not real warrants, then why are those being taken into account by Austin Police Department? I live past 130, and too often I see Austin Police Department hanging out there in the shadows. If we have so many emergency calls that go unanswered, what are you doing now?
Yeah!
Smoking ice?
That's what they're on. That's what Lisa's on. That's what City Council's on.
Those things. So if they're sitting there doing a report, what they're doing, I mean, I don't know, you need to give me more context.
Oh, Jesus.
What about
That's your job.
What about with regard to the administrative warrants, and again, like the requirement, I guess, and I guess we answered that to a certain extent in the sense that the administrative warrants are not real warrants. We have no, they don't require any kind of action. The would be more to the SB4.
We're not gonna get anything.
Let me, this is a related question to the administrative warrant. How is APD training commanders or
They're already
whatever
censoring people's
high-level
speech.
supervisors that the patrol
APD,
officers
City
can
Council
to
censoring
call and
people's
get,
speech right here.
administrative
Community
warrant
speech.
Question answered. How is APD training commanders when
APD,
they're
City
making
Council
decisions
censoring
regarding
people's
the
speech.
administrative warrants that they're encountering?
So I meet weekly with our commanders, and at those weekly meetings, as we go around, we discuss what's going on in the different sectors. Also talk about what our vision is and what our priorities are. Immigration is not a priority, and as we go and we're looking at calls being held for service, we're looking at direct patrols, we're looking at community outreach that needs to be done, that is a priority of the department.
And just to follow up on that, just for a second, Chief, the SB4 also takes into account resources. Basically, it's kind of that the Texas Police Departments have to assist given available resources. And I mean, what's the current situation, I mean, in terms of staffing and resources to be able to assist on these, again, non-criminal, non-public safety threatening and warrant? There is no legal authority to detain, and that person is free to go.
No, they're lying.
I'll fucking believe it when I see it.
Yeah, they're lying. They're lying.
This is another, and I'm not sure if you can answer this, Gene, but are ICE administrative warrants public information?
Yeah, it's fine now.
I don't know if that's in a public information or not. Does anyone know that? If it's in the NCIC,
I think it's
that's confidential. I don't know if it was a detainer, just
Detainer
because
from
it's
a-
civil,
Yeah.
it's probably not public.
Yeah, detainers are public, you can request a detainers from the county jail where the detainers were filed, but I think administrative warrants, I mean, even in the immigration context, they were not public, and just because they go into the NCIC, I think they would still be private as protected criminal information in the NCIC.
So, makes a lot of damn sense.
Council member, I'm gonna take one here and then I'm gonna move to that side because it's hands free. So I'm gonna take
Great.
one more on this side and then I'm gonna go that way. So I do see y'all, I'll be over there.
Hi, my name is Hector. I wanted to ask about the agreements that the Trump administration is sending to law enforcement to sign, which falls under the Sheriff's Department 287G. Are you all, as representatives and chief and members, attorneys, influencing to have the sheriff not sign those agreements?
I mean, let me speak on my behalf. I know that there is a 287G agreement required again by the state of Texas pending with the Travis County. Honestly, I don't know what the status of that is, and I don't know what the scope of it is either. My understanding of that is that the mildest version of the 287G agreement would just require the Travis County to essentially do what they do right now, which is honor the detainers, you know, to basically kind of continue. But honestly, I'm not that familiar with the new version of the 287G agreements that the state is requiring. Yeah, I mean, we want to cooperate as little as possible, the minimum
How about
that
none?
the law requires.
How about nothing?
with immigration.
How about no collaboration?
And I know that the Travis County Commissioners are going to be in the same position as the city, where they're going to try to cooperate.
Stop collaborating.
with the legal requirements, and they're going to try to do that with a minimum acceptable level of cooperation.
Just completely stop.
Let's go ahead and share
Yeah.
it.
Stop collaborating.
There's
Yeah.
somebody over there with a question.
I've got one. I'd like to bring it back to the administrative warrant. You earlier explained that your officers got confused on an administrative warrant, which is a known factor. It's not a legal warrant. It is not signed by a judge. Private businesses, individual citizens are having to train themselves off of a quick Google search with an infographic as to the difference between an administrative warrant and an actual real warrant signed by a judge. Supposedly, a police officer is trained on the law to uphold it. I am confused as to how y'all could not understand the difference and why your people were not ready, why they still don't understand, why they would still be thinking, well, let me call this number because it says this, when they should be trained. That is an administrative warrant. They ignore it, just like every business, every individual, every citizen has to learn what this is, because they have to prevent people from breaking down their door and stealing their neighbors and their children and their loved ones and their coworkers. How could y'all, who it is your job, not know enough, but expect us to know?
If you don't mind, what is your, again, I've never seen administrative warrants in any kind of criminal database.
You've never seen one.
Hold up, folks. We're trying to answer the question that was asked. Hold up.
You got away with too many lies.
Stop lying.
The administrative warrants, again, it says, it looks exactly like the detainer, call ICE. That's what he did. And ICE decided to come out. That officer made the decision to call ICE, he did, and before his investigation was over, ICE responded.
You're not answering. What if you just tell them not to do that?
Yeah, so the training, so when we look at the training and the way that our general orders is going
You didn't
to
answer the
change,
question at all.
that is through a, training bulletin, roll call show ups, where we're talking about this, the commanders pushing this information down as well. So the information is out to the officers now. That is a policy that has changed, even though we're working on the general orders and the changes there. That was in effect immediately after this incident. And so now when that does occur, they're going to be, they're called up to commander.
Great. Raimi, the question in the back over there.
Esto es 287G, sí o sí. Porque ustedes van a trabajar con, primero, no cogió la policía. Segundo, ustedes nos van a dejar en las manos de los sentimientos de un policía.
Sí.
Así es. Bajo la ley. Porque no existe ley que nos proteja. Así es.
Let me respond to that right quick at the last part of that where she says that there is no law that protects us. And that unfortunately is a harsh reality in Texas right now.
Hello. Thank you. Muchas gracias por estar aquí, apreciamos su presencia y también de todos los que hablan español. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí. Sé que no es fácil venir aquí, así que apreciamos que ustedes estén aquí hoy. I just said thank you. So, her question was, are you leaving this really hard decision on an officer who can, based on his emotion or feelings, call ICE?
That is what you're
Yeah, so
doing.
I think that the answer is, as we're changing those general orders, no, we're taking it out of the officer's hands if they call on that. Again, those administrative detain, those are not detainers. We cannot detain someone on those. If there's a criminal nexus there with that, and we're calling them, that will still be brought up.
That you are.
It's being taken out of that officer's hands.
Thank you, Chief.
It's a majority, yes.
Thanks, you. Do we have? The question was about.
If you do not have the mic, we cannot hear your question. There are 200 people online. I know that we cannot get to everyone. We have a mic back there, so please allow folks to ask their questions. Thank you. I have a follow-up question to something that was asked earlier about when someone is no longer under investigation, if they've been pulled over, they'll have the right to leave. And it's something that you said that you're looking into an affirmative, but will you commit tonight to working with community organizations to create something akin to Miranda rights that are read to people who are no longer under legal detainment by APD, informing them in whatever language they speak that the officer is following procedure related to an administrative warrant and will likely be calling ICE, but that the person is free to leave? Will you make a commitment to work with community organizations?
That's a great question, and I agree with it in the sense that administrative warrants are not legal authority to detain. And someone that, even in a situation where the officer wants to enforce an administrative warrant, they do not, under, again, my individual thoughts on the matter, don't have the legal authority to detain someone. I just do want to mention that that can change in the next Texas legislature. And that is a great fear of mine. It's just like detainers used to be kind of a county by county decision where it was really kind of sheriff by sheriff decides which detainers they honor and which detainers they didn't. Then the Texas legislature stepped in and said, you're honoring all detainers, and that was SB 4 in 2017. My fear is that the legislature could potentially step in and do the same with administrative warrants. Again, that's to be determined, but.
That takes your role to.
And I did answer that.
I
I did answer that. Yes, I will sit down. I will sit down with everybody. To come to.
Federal on us.
Yes, I will sit down and I will collaborate with everybody when it comes to everyone's rights. Of course I do.
Hold officers accountable.
We can no longer be denied that this country, even this world, is being run by a ring of pedophiles who are clearly corrupted by financial interests. They're making money off of these detention centers. How are you ensuring human rights and dignity is upheld if these officers swear a solemn oath to uphold the Constitution and protect the community, pledging never to betray their badge of character? How are you addressing the Epstein files?
So we're gonna, that's kind of outside the scope of what we're talking about here, so.
Pedo detector directly connected.
let's take, how about 2 more questions from the public? I see the mic out there.
Well, you don't get a goddamn. She gets a hand
I want to make sure that the people that are listening at home that are afraid, you talked about the warrants, and I want to know if someone is knocking on the door and saying, I have a warrant, and they don't have one, or it's not signed, can they call the police? What can they do in fear that they're going to get, their house is going to get rammed in, or they're going to be shot at? What can they do if they don't have a signed warrant or a judicial warrant? How can they call the police? Who can they call?
You call the police.
You work with the police.
And what will you guys do? Will you guys send
You're gonna help them out?
officers they cannot come into our house without a judicial warrant? Because the memo from the Department of Justice says that they can. And that is in conflict with the Constitution. But again, I appreciate you, Chief, that it's up to you. I've done tremendous work restoring community faith, and I want that to continue. But I need to know more about how you're going to do that when people are really afraid that their houses are going to get they're going to try to go in without a warrant.
It's almost like they're being swept, huh?
Let me answer that, because that was part of a lot of Know Your Rights training.
That's what you did to the homeless. You should be ashamed of yourself for asking that goddamn question.
When ICE is at the door saying that, hey, we have a warrant, we want to come in, the instructions are to not open the door and to ask them to either slide the warrant underneath the door or to present it in a window or something like that, and to look at it to try and determine whether it is a judicially signed warrant. Those are the instructions that we've given to folks for a long time. The administrative warrants.
They don't care about that.
Administrative warrant on them, and many immigrants that I've represented over the years have been able to successfully walk away from those kinds of situations where
that's not the case anymore. That's not the case.
I did not detain them because they did not have legal authority to do that.
They're picking up U.S. citizens.
Yeah. And they're going to continue to do that, but the reality is right now that they don't have that legal authority.
But they don't care.
Let's go ahead and take one more question.
Listen.
You listen. You fucking listen.
You listen to us.
Listen
you
to the
listen
people.
To us. You listen to us. You listen to us.
You work for us.
You listen to us. You listen to us. You listen to us.
Ma'am, I'll listen to you.
Sir, in the
All
back.
you want after this is over.
Sir, in
Right
the
now.
back.
You need to listen to us. Us. We the people. We the people. Not you. We.
I have a multifaceted question. I want to know.
We belong here.
I want to know what APD and DPS are doing to protect its citizens against ICE raids in places like Del Valley, and how it's protecting peaceful walkouts and protesters from peacefully protesting.
Well, you're talking about DPS, I don't know what they're doing as far as with ICE, that's DPS. What APD is, I can speak to that. And what AISD is doing with their students, I just met with AISD yesterday, we have a monthly meeting with them. We talked about their walkouts, they have several planned throughout this month. So we are in coordination with them. If we have to help with traffic, we'll do those things. So we are in coordination with AISD as well.
And let me add to that, I really appreciate AISD police. I thought they did a great job with the walkouts, protecting the kids. They were trying to close the streets to traffic and just making sure that the kids were safe and that they were able to exercise their First Amendment rights.
What about the rest of my questions?
Of the AISD Police Department. All right. With that, we've hit 7:30. I just want to thank everybody for coming out. And I want to thank the chief for coming out and answering a lot of tough questions and taking a lot of heat. I think she's done a great
Well,
job.
listen, I'm not going anywhere. I will be here to answer more questions, so I'll be here.
Thank you all very much for coming and
Arrest her.
we'll be sticking around for a bit.
Arrest all of them.
Arrest all of them.
Arrest all of them.
Arrest them.
That was great. I like having the Nazis behind us outside the windows.
Hello. How are you doing?
Good.
I saw you guys across the road. I was like,
Someone was handing them out. Yeah, definitely. You can have that for that's not the same thing. Yeah, someone was walking around handing Yeah, no problem. They're friends of mine.
They need to hear the truth.
They beat them. They run into us. APD run into us. Police vehicles, like, hit and run. They picked me up. They arrested me. They shot my dog. But that Lisa Davis said she was going to change. We filmed cops beating up trans brown people, and they never held them accountable. They lie. All that accountability shit's just lying. And there's a bunch of damn Nazis in there. What's your favorite? And so the good Dr. Psycho was now completely on it. And I went to the environmental science and network engineer at Microsoft. And now I'm it's a street. She was describing the street that the police do. The cops, they slap things and drag people up on the street. They rape women on the street. They drive up to the young women on the street. They say you have to and that's why it's a show. So the government can never fix the problem. But they that's great. He was here. Because it was you on All right.
Entonces, ahorita mañana, bueno, hay varias. Bueno, sí es cierto. Yes. Bueno, sigo con la policía. Dame.
No, it's the Wi-Fi.
Down for Austin police methods. I don't recognize them. Oh, this was city legal? I already beat them.
If you're understaffed and the people here are paying the bill, then like I know that, but you're not going far enough. This is like no wait. So I think but my problem is
she could probably legally argue if the concern is my job like that, like it is unreasonable for my officers to at all bother with immigration enforcement at all. I'm stopping you guys from doing this because we
So
are
she can't say that.
Yes.
She can't, hold on, it says, okay. So the law does say that you cannot materially prohibit any person.
You can listen to this lie all day long.
When I was saying we're playing 4D chess, is what I don't want to do is over saying is come to a place where we're saying where we're inviting more opposition. We're going to be writing another. As soon as I can
the circuit says, and this is from y'all's memo, however, the court recognized that cooperation or assistance provided by local officers must be made in response to a request from a federal official, and the assistance or cooperation provided may be limited to what is what I'm saying is, we are 312 police officers. You could take the position that it's never reasonable, and you can't call.
Well, that is
why not?
No, hold on, listen. So that is the point when I say you took the position out of the 800 officers and moved it up to the single officer that looks at the watch unit. And what she clearly said, she says, we're short 300 officers. Not only that, we're not using it. You can't lean on because what happened if we get the 300 officers? Let me just finish. There are also other reasons. The nature of the problem, or the nature of. Oh, I didn't finish. Hold on, listen. We cannot. I keep getting interrupted, so I keep losing my train of thought. When I said we cannot, as an police officer, a municipal officer, you cannot unilaterally arrest for an administrative warrant. Period. Unless you're in a 287G, which we don't have, nor do we tend to get it. Nor do we have not. Oh, listen, okay, that was, yeah, so that's not the normal practice. That was the one I said when, hey, suddenly 700,000 warrants got entered into NCIC when an officer comes up running a criminal warrant, which at the point, listen, I do not. Listen, if you just allow me to finish. If you just look, I've answered simple. Let me put this on the table. Me and my officers, yes. Me and my officers will always do. Will always. What is your question?
Is it not? If your officers are calling on a warrant or deportation orders, they're not administered, they're actual deportation orders. If your officers are calling them, are they not essentially doing the task force for 287 people?
They are providing.
Without being trained.
Listen,
No.
And they haven't been trained yet.
If they call out, like Genesis and her mom, right? The officer called, therefore he enforced the administrative warrant, therefore he essentially did the job of a 287G task force, did he not?
So a couple things on that. One, there was a criminal investigation component element to that.
And
one of the things, listen, hold on. What I was saying, if you let me finish, is we cannot unilaterally enforce an administrative warrant, lack thereof a criminal nexus to that. To your point, is what we've done is I don't think there's going to be a perfect answer 100%, right? But I think that what we've done as a start, and this is why I thought this was the precise opportunity we had to collectively come together and we're not doing it. I started with that.
When the officer calls, are they not essentially?
Forgive me, I'm really passionate about what I'm talking about because I am the community.
Are they not enforcing it when you call? Is that not the task force?
Help me understand.
Okay, so in the task force model, a police officer sees an arrest, is that not
so by definition of a task force means a cooperative partnership.
I know that you don't have a task force.
Right, we're not. I don't know. I wasn't tracking, but I'm not tracking what you're saying. But if you're saying,
you're doing the work of immigration, not the actual task force.
Okay, I think what we're doing is we're coming to the table to create policies that assist the community, that help the community. I think that, and that's when I said, listen, this is 4D chess. I think we're coming out with it with myself, with me, right? Okay. I think the responsible thing, I think we had a missed opportunity because the whole purpose is you're saying, hey, go give up your job and go do this. No, rally together. We said that. I said that. He said that. We said that. What I'm saying is an opportunity for us to rally together hand in hand and cooperatively come up with a policy that works for people. I think the start, what she was trying to say is, hey, listen, we recognize that there's hits that the community is taking, that there's going to be some losses in public trust and public confidence. One of the things we can immediately do, because we haven't wrote the policy, we haven't the whole policy, and we're running through legal, and then legal comes back and says, well, that's not how you can do that, or you got to do these things. You got to follow not only the Senate bill, but listen, okay, listen, have you worked on the Code of Criminal Procedure? Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So this is what I'm saying. You have to have a mechanism that addresses all of that, and a start is removing it from the exact situation that you described, that they were doing the work and the task. Well, let's take the decision making from that single individual at that point.
I just like, you can't do this. It's like, well, you can go further.
So one of the good things
they can tell you you can't do it.
They call that ice cream. Yes, they did call it. That officer.
That's not listen. Say you can't do it. That's not trash.
But I know that I get it. And those are the things we're working through. But here's the thing. One of the persons said, hey, let's advise them on the right. That was one of the things that was already on the table.
It doesn't matter. They're going to fucking chase them.
You're right. Yes. But listen, but we got to start somewhere. We can't all be like, we got to start somewhere. And we got to, I think we're all trying to get to the same space. I am not. I assure you, that is not. I assure you I'm not. I assure you, I can retire today. But I assure you, in fact, I'm not even at work today. As you see, I have surgery on Monday. So what I'm saying, no, I just want to demonstrate the commitment, right? What I'm really trying to tell you is it's going to take a village of being creative to come up with policies that meet the obligations of not just of the city, but of the law. But it's not going to be enough to become the law. You're going to have to become what code of criminal procedure and what state law says, right?
Maybe it was his job, but it looks terrible. Like, I understand that that's probably and some of the questions were
I don't know about that high up, but what I do know is I have an obligation to help the community. And that's where I'm
Girl,
no, that's where I heard.
Shut up, Cheeto. Nobody cares.
Oh, so I understand it's the new general order.
Shut up, Cheeto. Hey, you guys familiar with the Constitution of Heart at DC? United States, we're still in America, right? And you took IATA TF oath to the Constitution, is that correct? You remember your oath? You don't comment on the Constitution. Okay. Well, if you don't know the Constitution and you can't comment on it, I don't know if you might be impersonating an officer. You need to be put under arrest. You need to be put under, can I have your handcuffs? I think we might have to arrest oath breakers today. Because that's what's going to happen if you come after minorities, you dumb motherfuckers.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again for joining us today. Just letting you know that we're going to have to start cleaning up and putting tables away pretty soon. So we have 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone.
How are you? We need to call intake. I need civil rights help with the current case. I was arrested for playing rock music in Austin. Okay. And the officers with APD perjured themselves. I wasn't playing rock music. She was there. I had 4 filmers and lots of body cams, and I need an attorney.
Yeah.
So I guess I need to call intake on like Thursday or something.
You can send an. So we have an email. It's info@texascivilrightsproject.org.
Okay.
But what I would say is we also don't. We don't really do individual cases like that. We do more impact litigation. And
I just had national impact with my last case, and the new general orders are going to include my case law because I defended the press rights under the.
What case was that?
It was The last numbers are 992. It was Peter Kennedy's case. He was assigned by the court, and Pittman. It was Pittman was the judge.
Okay.
And who Pittman is, right? Yeah. And so the federal PA law of 1980 is included in any general orders, policies all over the country. Nobody even knows about this law, but the officers have to have a subpoena when they arrest me. They had to have a subpoena. They didn't have probable cause, and I beat him. It was a 6-year-old incident, and it was part of the pattern and practice. It was the part that lived. And so now officers have to have a subpoena to get our stuff when we're filming police. That has national impact because the lawyer just sent me an email where there's cases of ICE that are now hitting the federal court where they're taking people's cameras and they're going to quote my case. So it has national impact. Little people have national impact.
Yeah, no, I know. But
I'll try to get a hold of
email info@texascivilrightsproject.org.
Is it on here?
That's my personal, but info@texascivilrights.
American Gateways also is doing some legal stuff. So
Are they?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of them. I have to check it out.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Still hate numbers?
So what?
Still hate.
You need to remind me who you are.
I was with Peaceful Streets Project. I'm the oldest, longest running cop watcher in Austin. I've gotten cops fired. I've had cops quit. I've sued in federal court twice and won. I'm hammering APD. I'm doing more than ACC's ever fucking done.
Great.
All right, cool. And I'm not Antonio. He writes quit.
Lots of seconds. Are you going into the office tomorrow? Hi, how are you?
Hi, sorry to bother you. I heard y'all do legal work. I need a lawyer for a federal civil rights case that I'm in. I've previously won federal civil rights cases and made national case law to protect the press.
That's awesome. We do not do that kind of legal representation.
Civil liberties sent me over here. You know, nobody does this stuff. Nobody helps anybody.
We do immigration.
Immigration.
Yeah, we do immigration legal services.
Me, yeah.
So yeah, like
Until
we
they deport
represent.
me. I want to go to like Caymans.
Well,
I heard
hopefully they won't do that.
Small beach. I put online, deport me to the Caymans. Deport them into me.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, well, I appreciate what you do.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Tell them that they need to do something over there. The lawyers don't want to do nothing. They don't do that.
We're gonna get through.
I'll cover you. Oh, over there? Okay. Maybe I didn't get that one.
Oh, Irish. Okay.
Uphold your oath to the Constitution, y'all. I'm only going to tell y'all once. It may have dire consequences. I cannot guarantee your safety if you want to uphold your oath. Oath breakers will be taken and put in a cell. Just remember that. I don't really care what orders they give you. The Nazis pulled that shit. They didn't work in the Nuremberg trials. Just following orders is not an excuse for tyranny.
The district representatives end up joining and helping him out. That is his role. So they'll be able to help. He's also with all the training.
And when we're starting to do some work, especially over the summertime or out of school time, which is a big piece of our focus. But some of those events happen after we no longer have like the support of administration, because they've left school, or security.
We were referred to.
Put into a lot of situations where they've been arrested for filming the police, beating people up.
Like, you know what I mean? And we would talk and answer. Honestly, I might reach out to an individual attorney who's gonna know a lot about this kind of stuff like that. And again, I don't know what they were charged, but like some, I think a lot of, TCRP I think would be good. I'm not sure about what has to go in terms of, because they do a lot of more workers' comp, injured worker, wage theft.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they also do immigration stuff. That's quite their expertise. Although it's been a few years since I was intimately involved with them, so I couldn't 100% tell you. But I might reach out to the immigration bar and ask them. That would probably be the best resource if you want to take an afternoon and bring an attorney and like have them talk to your guys
that might be the best thing.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Hey man, good luck out there.
Appreciate you guys.
Twice, remember there's no bylines. Yeah, I still remember being. Say what? Yeah, I'll look at it. This when this is done, I'm gonna look it up now. Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that was so funny too.
I had a little lizard on my shoulder.
Oh yeah.
I was all hippied out back then.
Yeah.
That's who I was before I got my dog. I was looking out like that. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, it's good to meet you. Good to see you, man. Yeah.
Follow my work.
Where is it? Yeah, do you have like just, yeah, no, but I mean, do you publish in different places, or are you mostly?
I have Facebook. I publish with Challenger.
Yeah.
I just want to figure out the
Okay.
I just recently a lot of people have told me that I can talk to press rights for a variety of reasons. And how do you do about it? So the general orders are going to include me. They're at the high speed arrest is now making my case law now being used nationwide.
Look that up.
Nobody will touch it.
Okay.
It's a federal win.
Is it on your YouTube, or is it on the Challenger? Or? Yeah. No, that's
I just need someone to cover it because people need to know they have rights. It's about the people, not really about the thing.
I got you. Yeah. Give me an email. Shoot me a text. Yeah.
It's like Lizzardo Giganticus. 2C.
Yeah. Anyway, get in touch. Yeah.
All right. Good luck. I gotta get out. Oh, Cheeto, you're number one. I appreciate you, really. I'll see you later.
Hey, thanks, brother.
Son of a bitch.
Flip you off.
You put me off.
Yeah. It's okay. I want to keep I didn't catch it.
Ooh, it smells like bacon. Mistaken bacon. Where are we going, little piggies?
Little piggies in the room.
How exciting. We're going to go do a beat down to some minorities on the east side? Sounds great. We really appreciate your work.
Really appreciate your work. You guys are some of the biggest domestic terrorists we've had in a while. All they can be pumping that shit out. Use of force for resisting arrest. Obligatory under general orders. Throwing a trans woman down. Shooting people's dogs. Hiding the fact that you're shooting people's dogs. Oh my God. Oh, look, this looks some bullshit. I like bullshit.
Additional procedures they're going to add that they have to, after the call that they have to do.
Yes, it's all documented. So if they choose to call here,
No. Sorry, I was saying talking about the rights, giving the person the rights. We were talking about that, the card stuff, adding that as the whole procedure that they have to follow.
So this is like, talking to ABLA and talking to groups about how do we think outside the box on how we can make one more convenient and easier for people to find. That's one of the things. But also, can we bring it apart? There's a good container. There's commercial rights. And so that's it. So it's really about understanding that these officers don't have the right to clean something.
Oh yes. Point.
So that is
Point.
Yes. So the only concern I have is basically
Is Mike going to get hands on it?
on the person in the spot, and then you just kind of.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, you're.
I just want to.
No, we've seen how they do that grades and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, here's a spot. We don't know where the guy is anymore. This is like last known location.
Right. Yep. So when we do call ICE, they ask, can you at least get where they, what location are you at? And that's given.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure the officer knows that the potential implication of what can happen after the call.
Right, I would hope so, yes. And so when we talk about this, and we're talking, we have in-service training where officers come every year for 2 days, and one of the things we're talking about this year is immigration. We're talking about administrative warnings, the detainment, as a policy, and this policy is changing, so it's being talked about, and all the show up, and talked about to the officers.
That was my question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Quick question, if I can jump in. You guys alluded to, I think you answered one of the questions in terms of, you know, the police stance in terms of talking to ICE or engaging ICE or bringing them on board. You also mentioned that we do have the ability to call 911 if we feel things are getting kind of out of hand. My question is, in situations, and I think we've all seen it on TV, where clear constitutional rights are being violated, I really want to ask, what is the position that you guys, I know you're not going to engage in it and help or assist them, but are you going to protect the rights of the citizens that fund you guys? You know?
There is a responsibility for officers when they see behavior in one another, and there's a responsibility when they see illegal activities in somebody else. And so whether that's documenting, and we have body-worn cameras for capturing those things, but I'm not out looking for fistfights between our officers and ICE. I don't want that to happen. But what I want to do is, why are you here? What are you looking for? Where's your warrant? Let's see those things and have that collaboration. That's what I'm looking for. And then I also want, again, to take it out of the officer's hands to bring it up to that commander. I think that's going to give us, you know, certainly what I'm looking for is more accountability. And then when they do call ICE, that is captured, that is sent over to counsel every quarter. So we are seeing when and how that's happening.
Now, you guys are able to respond faster because ICE is pretty quick with these interactions, and they'll violate these rights really quick. Is your department equipped to also deal with those in the same type of capacity that they respond?
Well, we respond to 911 calls, and as fast as you can get there, right? I mean, that's, you know, we know that's a problem. Certainly when you're 300 officers short, that's always an issue. But you call 911 and respond.
Okay. Thank you for sitting hot seat. She should have a fake you at this point. Thank you.
First, you guys. As long as you be around. For sure. What were you looking to accomplish? Did you feel like you did? This year.
But it's an opportunity for people to get home. Hopefully I did that. So I understand what the frustrations are, and just me explaining where I am on this general order. And that's all it is. It's just we got to listen to one another.
Just one clarifying thing. Is this the first of these like general public town halls you've held since?
This is held by council members.
Oh.
They have this.
Is it like the first time facing the public in this way?
So, but you know, it's crazy, but you know, you have to stand up and you have to listen to people and come to the table, and that's it. You know, I think honestly we're in agreement for the most part with everybody. It's just how do we move forward? How do I stay within Senate 4 and still, you know, respect that? That's the rule of law. But how do I make it to where when we talk about what reasonable looks like, it's taking it out of officers' hands to do that. So I think those are the right moves to do when we're looking at administrative work. So.
Thanks, Chief. I appreciate it.
Chief, I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hanging fabulous.
Thank you so much.
So this is a question for a citizen. So this is a video of Minneapolis. She don't want that. I was walking on the sidewalk. I saw her. She pull over, say, "Hey, let's see our application."
Yeah.
Without no more. So let's say that happens wrong. Can I Yeah. Okay, but let's say they detain me because they could do anything they want to. Well, yeah, ICE. Let's say they just detain me because they can do anything they want to. What can I do? Can I call APD to ensure that? Yeah. So what can they do? I ain't saying that, but I don't want to be taken to like potato
but I think we can ask questions. We can see what what's going on, right?
Yeah.
What's happening? Where you have conversation.
I can just be walking on the sidewalk all the time. Okay. So I ask the ICE agent, say, "Hey, why are we being stopped?"
That's within your right.
Okay. What if they ask me because we think you're not a legal citizen? What if they say that I'm not a citizen?
I think you.
And I ain't giving my ID because I don't want to get some shit kicked in. But they say, "Oh, this is our." it could be fake, but that's this video said that happened. So when can the APD come ensure that it's not
okay. Listen, it is quite clear that the training is not the same, that there are some seriously lacking when it comes to training.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, I would say that is a circumstance where you find yourself in. Call 911.
Thank you.
Any thoughts about how the night went, Chief?
Thanks, guys, for coming.
Do you have a timeline for when the news are coming out?
Yeah, we don't.
Still not, yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Eric? No. Nope. I'm the Chief's. Oh.
Oh, okay. Let me tell her boy toy about that.
That's her husband.
I didn't like that.
Hey, Cab. Hey, Cab.
I hope I don't get
Her husband. Your wife? Sorry.
Exactly. Not you, that damn chief and his